Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I am Jim Punzenberger, your host, and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System, looking to generate leads of new clients or new partners without cold calling, ad spend, or spamming. Be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com. Today, I have a veteran of tech and the channel of many years, many years, and currently the co-founder of a virtual reality company wears the sales and marketing hat of the chief sales and marketing person in the company. Amy, please introduce yourself and tell us a quick bit about your company.
Thank you, Jim. Nice to be here. I appreciate the invite. So yeah, as you said, I have been doing this for many years. And, part of me feels every single one of those years, other parts feels like it's only been about 10. So just been lucky to have a great career in tech. I started way back when sort of the PC was born, and I've had this raucous journey in sales, hardware, software, a little bit of everything all along. So as you said, currently I am the co-founder of a company of VR, virtual reality company called Running Bull Media. We build immersive experiences for that are empowering sort of enterprises to approach their sales and marketing a little bit differently. We provide these VR experiences and we create them with the brand to help them really help communicate their brand, allow their customers and prospects to experience the brand in a whole new way. And we feel like we're really taking this, taking things and taking the sales and marketing experience a little bit differently, and which is exactly where I've come from. So, done a lot of sales and marketing in my past, and, being able to do it a different way and to add some value to it is super exciting to me.
Sounds like something that's on the cutting edge of tech with combining virtual reality and sales and marketing and providing, sounds like it provides something totally new experience for companies to provide to their, prospects and clients.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we love this Zoom, I think people are a little bit fatigued by it, and we've had to pivot on how we do events and how we engage with our customers and our prospects, and so I think that's what excited me about that. Is I'm always looking at new ways. The channel has always been my great way to grow businesses. So to be able to kind of work on something, that's what interested me, and that's why at this sort of ripe old age, I decided to jump into a startup because I really the technology and the ability was just too cool to pass up. So instead of figuring out my balance sheet for retirement, I've decided to figure out a 3-year revenue projection to go out and secure funding. So
that's those balance sheets are vastly different.
Yeah, they are, but it's interesting. You never know. I think you asked about when we were talking earlier before about sort of a superpower, and I talked about this sort of zigzag of my my career, and you just never know what's going to be around the corner. I think that's that when I talk to so many young people and when I talk to any other women in business, I feel like that's what I love to tell and impart on people is just take those opportunities. If it feels good and if it trust your gut, because when I haven't done that, that's where I've made my detours, so to speak. But I've always learned something from the detour. I had a friend tell me once that a career path should not be a straight line. It should be more like a, sort of a drunken walk. So it should be a little more, zig and a zag and a whatever, or a drunken sailor, whatever we want to call it. But, I think if you have that visual in your head, that it's going to be fun, and there's going to be, you might fall down, but you're going to get up.
It's a curvy back road versus the straight interstate highway.
Exactly. I live in New England, so we have all those kind of roads. So it's, it's more like driving up here than it is, driving in Nebraska, which I've done. So, I was like, when are we going to take a turn? When are we going to do something? So, that's where I think that I like to impart on people is to, listen to all those opportunities. When somebody says, are you interested in, making a move? Always listen, because you never know what you're going to hear.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And you
And
mentioned trusting your gut. So do you have any tips on how can one know, I guess, how to develop a better trust of your gut, so to speak, or how to utilize that in, making better decisions regarding your career or your business?
yeah, I feel like I actually had a wonderful quote that I had found, scrolling through my feed one day on LinkedIn. And I think, part of that is listening to other people. I kind of related to when I became a mom, and everybody has, an opinion on how to parent.
Right.
And some are good and some are bad, and some are going to work for you and some won't. I mean, some of the strategies just didn't jive. But you
Uh-huh.
can listen and say, okay, part of that might work for me, part of that might not. And I think that's the same thing, is sort of being able to listen and really listen. Um, and then, sort of giving yourself that moment to think, where did it land in your brain and in your gut, as they say. But, does it make logical sense to you? Does it, is it too good to be true? I
Uh-huh.
think that's the other thing. We all get lured into, that job that's going to pay all this money and, do all this thing. And then, it lands flat. And it's because, if it's that good, it's probably not, it's not real. So I think those are the things. And I also feel like taking it and talking it through with somebody else. I rely very heavily on my network. Always have, always will. Either friends within the business or friends out of the business. But I find if I try to articulate something that I've heard that I want to kind of vet in my head, if I try to say it to somebody else and I can't articulate it, or I get you watch the body language, or you hear and you listen to what your trusted advisor might say, or even just anybody. I think that's always a good thing, to see how people react when you try to describe it back to them again. I feel my husband's, out of this business. So when I've been able to try to articulate some of this stuff, you know, depending on how much he cocks his head or says, really, if
Uh-huh.
that's a good gut check for me. But I feel like that's, try to say it again and see how it sounds on your,
So,
on your
so
voice.
it's almost like you're um, asking others about it to get their gut reaction so that you can gauge your gut reaction based on their gut reaction also.
Oh, I think so. I mean, there's people that you trust, and that's one thing, especially now with this, we're building this company and there's just a couple of us to start. We're trying to come up with all of the business plans, and there's certain parts that I've done, but I'm not an expert at. And so being able to say, I don't know, that's the other probably really good tidbit, that we can all admit that we don't know stuff, but I know people who know. And I find that I can reach out to just about anybody now and say, hey, you know, can we have a conversation about, I did this yesterday with a somebody who's a dear friend, but has also been in a serious, great sales guy for years and years, been, selling and enterprise and done it all. So I wanted to hear what he said about sales process, go to market, all these things that I'm thinking about. And it was a wonderful conversation, things that, you know, kind of validate, again, me saying it, validating my ideas,
Uh-huh.
and his reaction to, what I'm doing, was so great. And in the end, I got him kind of thinking, and we were just kind of this brainstorming session that came up with some really wonderful ideas. So don't be afraid to ask people. And I think people love that. I don't know. I haven't had anybody that I haven't reached out to, even people I don't really know, and say, hey, so-and-so said you'd be a good person, or I've been following you on LinkedIn and I find your content really great. And
Uh-huh.
I am a founder and trying to learn. And everybody, people are very, very gracious and want to share their knowledge. So I think it's, I love to get people's different input, and that helps me
So
kind of,
simply asking others,
yeah,
like reaching
and
out and
yeah.
just sincerely asking them for their input on whatever it is that you have questions about, and that they're a subject matter expert in, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think that, and I don't know, I sort of, my friend, I have a friend who accuses me of collecting people. I'm like, that's my hobby. And I do. I have people, from all these jobs that I've had over the years, and I love it. And not only do I, love to talk business with them, but, keep my friendships. So when I travel for business, there's hardly a city or state that I can go to that I can't call somebody and say, hey, I'm going to be in town, let's have dinner, and just catch up and have a friendship. So, it's harder now I think, to create some of those friendships, virtually, but it's going to take a little extra effort. But I think it's so important to do, because then when you do get together, you really have this wonderful person that you've developed in a different place, in a different time, and gives you a different perspective. And I am thankful for that sort of collection of folks that I've had over the years. Some have become dear friends, and others are still more work-related friends, but I never hesitate to pick up the phone and call them. So, and
Cool.
I always get a nice reaction.
That's great to, I guess, great to have is a network of people.
Yeah, and you can build it. I really think it takes a little, like I said, I think a little more effort these days. But I think it's still such an important thing, especially for young people coming up and young women. I've been doing a bit of mentoring, and I think that's one of the things I always tell them: try to find that network, find those people who are like or unlike yourself that you're curious about, and build up that network, because people really want to help and support. And that's we can't do it by ourselves, as much as we think we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any final thoughts regarding this?
Well, I guess my, I kind of wrote down a few things that I wanted to cover, and I think we talked about it. But I think the final one of my final things is, and I'm gonna, this sounds funny, but I think sticky notes are the success. This is what builds me. And if you look around my office, if I unblurred this, you will see sticky notes everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Write your ideas down. You never know which one you're gonna. Someday that you look at it the next day and say, that was silly. You throw it away. Otherwise, you're like, no, this is good. It goes back up on the board. I feel like, make your list, write things down, revisit them. Like I said, that gut check. I think that all kind of combines into coming up to who you are. And that's what I would say is just, I wish I knew earlier about sort of taking that breath and spending more time listening than I would. But now that I'm building this company, I do a lot more of it, and it's just been super exciting.
Cool. So yeah, the high tech the low tech solution to a high tech problem, use sticky notes.
I think so. I think there's just, it's a way to, I don't know, for me, because I do come up with ideas all the time, and
Yep.
it's just easy to kind of throw them on different notes and then be able to either, like I said, keep them or not. I don't know. I love them. I have different colors. They're all over the place. I have them on my monitor, life lessons. I think, one of the ones that I wrote down, because I heard it on a webinar, was, this EAT theory, which was John Barrows. I don't know if you know John. John's a sales leader, a sales trainer. And he
Uh-huh.
said, every day you eat, which means you can control your effort, your attitude, and how you treat people. And that is probably one of the simplest, easiest things I've ever heard. And like I said, I have it right here on my monitor every day. And I think that, every day, if we think about eating, as we say, for our
Yep.
nutrition, we also can think about what our effort and our attitude and how we treat people will make our day better.
Well, thank you for that tip.
You're welcome.
So do you have anything you'd like to ask of the audience?
Well, that's awesome. Yes, I do. I obviously, I love to connect. I love for people to take a look at virtual reality. We are growing this business, and we're very fortunate that we actually do have quite a few customers already, large customers who are taking advantage of this. I ask that people think about it. If you're trying to create a new way to engage with your customers, with your prospects, if you're an event or a field marketer, if you're an ABM marketer, I love to try to share some of these ideas with you. And we are looking for funding. I don't know if there's that person out there with that deep wallet who wants to invest in two really incredible people with a really great idea that's going to on-ramp everybody to the metaverse. We're your folks. So
sounds like you're looking for people in event marketing or possible investors, angel type funders to invest in. It sounds like a new cutting edge solution.
absolutely. That was well said. Thank you, Jim.
And what would be the best way of getting a hold of you if somebody would like to reach out?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Amy Hensiek. I'm also Amy at runningbullmedia.com. And I am on LinkedIn quite a bit. I do respond to LinkedIn emails. I do respond to emails. So I would love for people to reach out to me on either and connect. So again, it's Amy Hensiek, Hensiek, a little bit different.
Great. So either email or look on LinkedIn for Amy Hensiek.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for your time today and sharing your great wisdom.
Thank you.
It's been my pleasure having you on.
My pleasure being here, Jim. Thank you very much for having me.
And until next time on the Profits of IT, I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System, looking to generate new leads of clients or partners. Be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to the Profits of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.